basic arpeggios for melodic techno. I guess that's today's video, and let's go do it right now. Hey, what's up? I'm in location, and thank you for checking out yet another video. If this is your first time here, don't hesitate to click subscribe, hit that notification bell, because whenever I upload a new video, you will be kept in the loop and you won't miss out on anything. Stick it out till the end of this video. I'll tell you all about Patreon and I'll tell you all about Discord. So, arpeggios. It's a very strong tool to use. Why? Because you can get into polymeter business, you can get into polyrhythm business, and you can get like basic triads to really just like work their way up the scale or down the scale, however which way you want to program it. Now, even if you don't know that much of music theory, there's a few tricks that you can do in order to make it sound like you know what you're doing, and that's the basic thing. I use my arpeggios as a catalyst to drive the beat. Now what I will do is I'll got a groove set up and I'll play some arpeggio examples over the top. I'm not making music per se, so I'm not building a whole track. That is coming, as well as the jams that I'm preparing, cause there's new shows that are being programmed, so obviously I'm working on that. But for today's example, I'd like to take you into my sort of like process of my workflow or my mindset on where I am when I make arpeggios. Now, without further ado, let's head over to that live set and let's make it work. Are you coming? Come on, let's go. Welcome to the live set. I mean, you can see that it's vastly getting out of hand right now. So I've got like more stuff, because I'm accumulating a lot of equipment in this search for the perfect setup, which does not exist. There's no such thing as a perfect setup. What there is though, is that I'm trying to just like come up with certain different things in order to make my electronic orchestra work. So different tasks to different band members basically. So I've got like the minitar sitting over there, the tetra sitting over here, and then the subsequent sitting in front of me. The subsequent is going through the blue sky. I've got a mixer over here, which is the 802. All of the music goes in the mixer, and that mixer goes into the octatrack. The stereo octatrack output goes to the L12 live track over here, or whatever mixer is being used to perform. Why am I sticking all this equipment into the octatrack? Basically, I've got the master track on the octatrack with a cutoff frequency, with the cutoff filter, with reverb, with beat delay stuff. You know, there's a delay designer in there. It's really cool stuff that you can do, so it makes for your live performance a better sort of like flow. Now, what I have is this. Just a simple beat. And getting on topic, why arpeggios are such a strong tool is because I think they will fill up a certain portion of your music. You can either have them play leads, or you have them play accompany kind of catalyst flavor. And with catalyst flavor, I mean that it will just be there driving your groove. Like for instance, you know, let's talk about triads first. So when we got this minor C chord, I can stand here for 5 minutes, but wouldn't it be cool if I can tell the subsequent to just like take care of that? So what I would do, as there is an arpeggiator on here, which is cool, but I'm using the Akai MPC Live as the brain. The octatrack is my drum groove. I will get to what everything else is doing in a second. Bear with me. So what I would do in order to have this thing play in arpeggio, by holding this triad that I was just playing, the 3 notes, I'll just say note repeat, hey. Nice, simple. But you have to hold note repeat for it to work. So what I will do is I'll hit shift, and now it's latching on the note repeat. So now I can just go in a different direction. What I like about triads is that it's playing a polymeter, not a polyrhythm, polymeter. So as you can hear, into crazy territory with this as well. This just goes. Now, this is the most common arpeggio I hear a lot of these melodic techno jams consisting of. Also, what a cool thing is you can do different timing on your arpeggio. So if you go for a 1/8 arpeggio, it'll do something else. So you can go completely in an opposite direction, and I really like the fact that that is one of the cool things, because it's a completely different vibe. Now, let's add a little bit more drums. Got some sort of a techno groove going with a very, very loud top loop I can hear. Let's turn that down a little bit. So, and a hat here, which is in the same frequency. So for now, let's not worry about it. Now what I have is, I've got an arpeggio that consists of two separate lead lines that both make up the arpeggio. I will sing it for you and you'll hear it. The bottom note plays bum 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 bum, and the top note plays. I'm loving the fact that now, if you really focus, you can either choose to focus on this lower bass kind of vibe, or you can focus yourself on the top part. Now, why is this handy? Because you won't necessarily need more stuff in your music. So find those kind of call and response type of arpeggios, and they're not hard to make, but you need to figure out how to make them first. So what I would do is like just holding this. Obviously it's simple. Just add a few notes in. So what I would do is I would think on what is my bass going to play. Maybe this would be my bass melody, and then top melody should play. That's my top melody. So both of them together, you'll get this. Let's play longer notes. And I tend to like play triads more than I'd like to play like 4 notes, because when this beat is already playing a 4 to the floor beat, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You know, and that's the same with when I play just 4 notes. 1, 1. So my melodic content and the measure of the beat they're always aligned, and that means that it can get boring after a while. At the same time, it's just a different vibe. Playing with no longer notes. completely drifting within those 4 beat segments, and that does better stuff. Even if you play 5 notes, then the measure becomes a completely different situation altogether. And the trick what you can do, this is a thing also, if you are playing a 3:4 ratio polyrhythm, make sure to make your pattern 48 steps in length, not 64. Otherwise, it will reset itself towards the end of the bar and it will always start on the 1. Listen to this. And it's going to restart right here. 2, 3, 4. And what you would want is for it to just continue on to play that kind of and not reset here. Bam. Anyway, it's a thing if you want to just like have people drift off into oblivion, which is what you can imagine if you would use a TB03, for instance. That's just, it just goes straight. You know, if you play 7 notes or you play like 4 or 5 or whatever, it just keeps doing what it does. Now, back to my... The trick also to extend your listener's mind is to make sure that if you're playing a sparse kind of 5, which is what I'm doing, make sure that one arpeggio, if you can program it a little bit, just place those different notes. So place this, play something like this, and then just record it in, and just probably just like change the notes. So I can probably do that. Let's just put this one on record and say, where are we? Here. Nice, a happy little accident. There's double notes that it's now fighting with, so zooming in. That's what I mean. So now you get like something crazy. The bottom note is always going to play the same. So what I'm going to do is select that note here. Play around with the notes, you know, now that I know. Chord, yeah, C minor chord. And those I'm going with. Now I've got a small melody. Why this starts to become interesting is because this is going faster than this is going 1. So what you got now, you got the 4-part arpeggio playing here. And this is the driving force for my groove. This is, I'll probably start my set something like this. Oh, everybody's dancing, yeah, okay, beat. Ah, come on. Not to like it, right? So here we go. Kick out, beat in. Everybody knows where we're going. But because this thing is just repeating on the same measure as the groove, you'll probably forget about what it's doing. You know that it's there, you'll dance to it, and it'll be cool. Now you need something to contradict a little bit what's going on right here, or at least have a bit of a contrast. So it's a example. Obviously, if I was to play longer or to make this video 3 hours long, I would come up with a different kind of structure. But just for sake of example, just because it's conflicting. Well, this is a 3-note pattern, and this is a 4-note pattern. Well, this is actually a 3 and a 4-note pattern. That starting with the. I'm just loving the fact where it's going. But now it means that it's just constantly picking your brain. This is going to be an ambient thing for all I know. What is also a good trick in order to get a little bit more liveliness going is play around with the different velocities on the different notes. So as you can hear here, there's emphasis on a few notes. So the melody that's playing the top line is being exaggerated, as you can hear. But if you would focus, maybe, I don't know, if you download this audio and you just turn down all the high frequencies, you clearly hear the bass notes. And that's the one note that's being a little bit like in the background. You can either do it by velocity, or what you can also do, which is what I can suggest, is filter certain notes down if you are in a situation that you can actually filter different notes down, or do it with LFOs, or I don't know, I don't care how you get there, and it will work. It'll be a cool thing. It'll be a cool thing to just like stick in your music. I've got this on Shimmer, which is the blue sky sitting over here. And I promised to explain to you a little bit what's going on with the rest of the music. Usually I've got my bass note over here, my minitar. Let's see if we can find something interesting with it. I'm not going to play an arpeggio with this, because otherwise it will become a little bit too much. Nice, okay. Now what I'm going to do, first I will find a different sound. Let's pitch it in the right key. Nice. That's what happens if you... Okay, let's play it again. 1, 2, 3, and... Now these are the bottom notes of my arpeggio here. Nice, so this blends nicely. So I've got my bass line sitting on the bottom here. And if at some point you think, okay, I'm going to take on this arpeggio that's playing over here, then you got a different melody with those two. can you level stuff so that stuff is going to work? I just did it quick, fast, but what basically is something that I do is I'll listen to what notes are being played, and it's sometimes it can be a little bit hard to figure out what the notes are playing. But if you start out with this C kind of triad situation, which I had right here, which I stuck on, say this. When you start here, from the minute you start to play this, and you start to only change the bottom note, this is easily checkable. You know, you can find what you can play within that chord, but you just change the bottom note and then play those bottom notes with a different synthesizer. And maybe if they don't align, just stick everything on the first of the measure. So then you get a little bit of a, like I said, a 3 to 4, maybe a different measure going. But it's going to just like sound cool, and your music is enhanced rather than sticking everything bang on the grid and starting on the one. Now that's a ton of different stuff that can be done with arpeggios. As I said, I'm only touching the surface right now. I just wanted to just like play you an example of how I basically do it. I do always use an arpeggio, so if you're thinking, this is a thought I'd like to give to you as well. If you're thinking, how do I set up my DAW setup? Basically think on an arpeggio will always win the battle. This one is a sample that I have right here, which I made with a TBO3 and some distortion, so I'm not using filters on this one per se. Because if I have a filter, you see with all the knobs, and especially the ones that are broken, if I have a knob that I can wield, I'll probably wield it. But for this, I just want it to be just want to just like go and get in there and just keep it going, keep it moving, keep it flowing. Just, you know, don't think about it too much, and then add stuff over the top. That's basically how I wanted to do this. But if you can add stuff to it, this kind of flow without the arpeggio, and you wouldn't know. You think, wow, what a cool bass line. How did he manage to get inspired to play a bass line like that? Basically, I just dissect and take it away from other stuff that's already happening within my music. So it means that you can utilize multiple things with the one sample or the one groove you have. So listen carefully and deeply to what information you stick in your music. I apologize for the grooves. The grooves are not mine. This one is shuffled a little bit, this one is not. So but for the sake of this example, it's even better so you can hear what both of them are playing. This one was just be in the same range as the octatrack arpeggio, then obviously you wouldn't make that out too much. Yeah, pretty much that's that. I promise you to tell you what else is going on. I've got the Space Echo, which is wired up to the Dave Smith. I had the Dave Smith Tetra in another input on the Akai Octatrack, but unfortunately I needed 6 tracks for my drums, so I thought, you know, I had the Minitar going in here and I had like the Tetra going in here, but that meant that I can only have 5 tracks for drums, and I needed more. So it's continuously growing and moving in a certain direction, but that meant that, you know, a small mixer, stick all the sounds that you want in there, have them in one input, so you only have to sacrifice one specific track as a true machine, get everything out of the stereo, and the Octatrack sounds ace. I mean, I don't know what people are saying that it doesn't. I think it does. I like it. I've performed with it. I kicked some butt in the club, so I love this. So this is the end station right here. What I might do in the future, if you're going anywhere, I might have my Q outs go through a filter, so certain elements in certain patterns need to be emphasized more. For instance, if I was to say like this Minitar, I like it, I can sample it in here and throw it out of the Q outputs and just have a different filter that it goes through, and that will end up on a mixer as well. But those are routing things, more advanced kind of stuff, but that's how I have capitalized on this specific way of working. Now, I am very curious to see what your idea is. You can read all the theory there is to it. I mean, obviously, what is an arpeggio? It does what it does. It's notes that play one after the other in a sort of a rhythmical fashion. Any smart synth has an arpeggiator on it. You know, you can go up, down, they can go up, they can go down. But I would love to play around with them and have them do different things. From the minute you get to an arpeggio that plays this, you get different notes that you can follow. That means that your track has got longevity. You've made an infinite loop right there. So, and when you make this kind of vibe, this melodic techno vibe, you would love to not overproduce your track, keep stuff as nice and tidy as possible. So, how did you like it? How do you use your arpeggios? I mean, there's a million ways to do it. I think there's a very strong way of doing stuff. I will do a future video on the TB03, which is kind of a bassline machine, but it does arpeggios in a way. You can call them arpeggios. So there are multiple ways to get to Rome, is what they say. Hey, thanks for sticking out this far into the video. If you're still around, cool. I'll tell you all about Patreon. Head over there, we've got a cool community that's linked up to Discord, which is connected to Patreon, and we speak about different things, about setups, about casing, about travel, about modular stuff, about DIY stuff, building stuff yourself. So it's a cool community that we've been building, and we're either on 10K or close to 10K. I think it's about 10 subs away from it, so that's very exciting. So thank you for supporting this. 4 tiers as well as tiers on this channel that you can enlist on. You can join and support the channel. It'll be cool. I'm trying to just like up the ante, make better content for you, as well as do some webinars in the future. That platform is being built as we speak. Still working on that mixer as well. There's a lot of things that are happening at the moment, but it's cool to just converse about it, talk about it, and just, you won't be breaking the bank. Come and check it out. There's a lot of cool people in there. So that's Discord and Patreon. After this video, I guess there's going to be a video after party. So if you are cool enough to hang it out or stick it out or want to just come join us, you're most welcome. Okay, I'm Melodic Kitchen. I'll catch you next week on another video. Peace.